But while we're talking about tight ends, there's two significant contracts at the tight end position. So let's talk tight end free agency, and then we'll get on out of here because we are approaching that time. But the biggest contract from the tight end position is Hayden Hurst. He goes from Cincinnati to Carolina on a 3-year, $21 million contract, guaranteed $13 million. How do you feel about Hayden Hurst as a Carolina Panther?
Nah, that's kind of my answer to it.
Yeah.
Just like,
What's up, Bryce? She says, "What's up, guys? Love all of the content." And he said, "Oh, and of course, Skull, baby."
I'm outnumbered here. I'm outnumbered.
Outnumbered. The Chicago Bears versus the two Skull guys. But anyways, yeah, I think it's meh. It's Hayden Hurst is decent. I don't think
He's a
it's super.
solid tight end. He's a
It's not.
solid tight end, but we're gonna have the same questions, Drew. Like, who's gonna be your quarterback? Is the rest of the team going to be so bad that he's going to be ineffective? And another thing too, Hayden Hurst is Hayden Hurt. He's always hurt. So
You know what you can say about Hayden Hurst though? He's the best receiver on this team.
yes, he is. He is.
So
Unless you want to count fake Christian McCaffrey, Miles Sanders.
So he is the best receiver on this team. So if they don't add any wide receivers, which I don't think that they will not address the position, I think they're going to address the position. They have to. You do want to target tight ends for fantasy football. This is kind of a strategy that I have used throughout my fantasy football career is target tight ends who are at worst the second receiving option on their offense. So the Panthers could go and they could add a wide receiver. Maybe they get a Zay Flowers or a Jalen Hyatt or something like in the second round come draft day. Hayden Hurst is still going to be the second receiving option in the offense, which when you pair the second receiving options criteria with an athletic profile of Hayden Hurst and a couple other variables, at times you get breakouts at the tight end position. So I'm not saying that I'm stamping Hayden Hurst as a breakout candidate for fantasy football in 2023, but if he's the number 1 or the number 2 receiving option in Carolina, I'm not opposed to shooting a shot there. I'm not opposed to it because the value that you're going to have to pay is going to be cheap. And anytime you can get a breakout at that tight end position, it's worth it because that landscape is so scarce that if you can find one for cheap, it's the same reason we were talking about Juwan Johnson, right? Like if you can find one for cheap, it's worth it. So I'm not opposed to shooting Hayden Hurst for very cheap. Maybe you can get somebody right now in your league to sell you Hayden Hurst for like a 4th round pick. If you can go get Hayden Hurst for a 4th round pick right now, totally worth the gamble in my opinion. So yeah, that's what I would say about him. And then the only other one that now I'll address the elephant in the room, right? Let's address the elephant in the room because the Vikings gave Josh Oliver a 3-year, $21 million contract. Now I don't think that this is nothing good for fantasy football. However, the only thing that I will justify this from a football standpoint is that Josh Oliver ranked out as one of PFF's top 5 blocking tight ends in the NFL last season. So this is more of those like it's a good NFL football move, and it's totally irrelevant for fantasy football. Like
yes, it's the same. It's the same deal as the Bears signing the run Travis Homer. Like Travis Homer, he said during his press conference that he's one of the best blocking tight ends in back. He's one of the best blocking running backs in the NFL, and he's good on special teams. I mean, and Bears fans, oh my God, you let Montgomery go, and a minute later you sign. He's there for special teams and blocking purposes.
Yep,
like that's it.
And Travis Homer, he really is one of the best running backs in pass protection. He might be the best pass protecting running back in the NFL. He really might be, but that is what his job is. And Josh Oliver's job is to come in and block on run plays and get an extra guy in there blocking for Kirk Cousins on play actions and other stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not going to be fantasy relevant. So I did want to address that because I know some people who see the Vikings hat and see the Vikings jerseys, they're going to be like, why don't you talk about Josh Oliver? That contract is so bad. No, the contract is fine. It's front loaded. He was only guaranteed 8 million of the 21 million. So like he's not guaranteed anything. And it's front loaded. He's a blocking tight end for us. You're not going to see him show up on the stat sheet, but he's going to benefit the Vikings in football games. But the other one that is fantasy relevant, and it hurts me a little bit because I don't love it, but Mike Gesicki signs with the New England Patriots a 1-year, $5 million contract, and Mike Gesicki goes into a tight end room with Hunter Henry, and it almost kills both of them, in my opinion, man. It's just, I don't know. B-Dub was talking about Gesicki going to the Patriots, and he said, dude, that is so fire. And I'm like, dude, I don't see what you see at all because I think this sucks for Mike Gesicki.
Hey, are you done digging that plot next to Juju Smith-Schuster? Make room for Mike Gesicki. That's all. Like he's done too. He's done. Put a fork in him. He's done. Oh man. You know the guy. You know, rest in peace, Mike Gesicki. He didn't even get to learn the gritty properly before he passed on.
God damn it! It's gonna be him and Mac Jones hitting those gritties.
Oh
You
man, that's
remember
gonna
Mac
be
Jones hitting the
horrible.
gritty in the Pro Bowl? Oh my gosh, they're gonna hit that gritty.
Oh man, he's gonna gritty right to the grave.
God
That's
damn.
what he's gonna do, man. Ah man, Mike Gesicki, and Mike Gesicki is such a good tight end, man. Honestly, wait a minute, hold on. There's another relevant signing, tight end signing I gotta bring up. Because I almost accidentally forgot to talk
Oh,
about it.
Tanyan?
I think I wanted Mike Gesicki to sign with the Bears, but the Bears had another sneaky good signing with great value, Robert Tanyan, a Chicago kid, re-signed, which is the theme of also the Bears signing guys from Chicago. I think that's another sneaky good tight end signing, but man, I wanted them to sign Mike Gesicki, but instead Mike Gesicki decided that he wanted to end his career early, I guess.
So you brought up Tanyan. Give me your opinion on how this is going to affect Cole Kmet, if at all. Does it affect Cole Kmet at all?
Well, from what I understand, Cole Kmet, and I get these two mixed up all the time, man. I think Tanyan is a U tight end. Like he's a move tight end, I believe. So he's going to be more of that, receiving type tight end, and they want Cole Kmet to be a receiver and blocker. I think Cole Kmet is a very capable receiver. I don't think Robert Tanyan is healthy all the time. He's always a little banged up. I don't think it's going to hurt Cole Kmet that much. I think Justin Fields is going to be a better quarterback this year. So I think Cole Kmet produces more. I still see him honestly as the second best receiver on his team, even above Darnell Mooney. Believe it or not.
Okay, so you would be comfortable ranking Cole Kmet as a top 10 dynasty tight end.
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely,
cool.
absolutely. Who are the 10 that's above him besides the obvious?
I'll give you some names. Let's pull them up and you tell me how you feel. I'm gonna go keep trade cut. Let's see the consensus rankings here. We do have at the tight end position. I mean, you say the obvious, so we're gonna exclude Kyle Pitts, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, T.J. Hawkinson, George Kittle, and are we gonna exclude Dallas Goedert?
Yes.
Okay, so exclude Dallas Goedert. So what about Pat Freiermuth?
Him
I
and Cole
probably
Kmet
lean.
are fairly close.
Yeah, I lean Freiermuth.
Yeah, but they're fairly close. Yeah.
Yeah. What about Darren Waller?
Volume. I have to keep Waller up there because of volume and what I think
Okay.
he's going to be to their offense.
Evan Engram?
I'm putting Cole Kmet above Evan Ingram.
Me too. David Njoku.
I'm putting him above Njoku.
Me too. Greg Dulcich.
I'm putting him over Greg Dulcich.
Me too.
And
And
I know you
then
love Dulcich.
I do. And then the obvious guy that we haven't talked about, and it's going to be hard to rank because we don't know where he's going, but Dalton Schultz.
Since I don't think there's no other place besides going back to the Cowboys, which I don't think he's going to do,
I
but I
think
think
there's
he'll
two
produce
places.
more than Cole Kmet.
I think there's two. I
San
think
Diego,
actually
not San Diego, LA
no.
Chargers.
Actually, you say that now. There's four, in my opinion. So the Chargers, the Packers, the Commanders, and the Texans.
So I'm going to wipe three of those out because of their quarterback situations.
And you're taking Packers, Commanders, Texans out.
Yeah.
But okay,
Yeah.
so we're gonna say the Texans aren't a solid landing spot if they get CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. Rookie quarterbacks rely on tight ends to.
They do, but I got to see it before I believe it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think
Or as
I don't
Patrick
know, man.
Mahomes said, I gotta believe it before I see it.
Yep. Whatever. But that's the only ones that I would say. So yeah, I think Cole Kmet lands in that top 10. I think he's towards the bottom of the top 10 list. But
Yeah.
he lands in that top 10 because I think if we put him above Ingram, below Waller, he would be like, I think he would literally be tight end 9 on the list. So
Yeah.
it just depends how these guys, Kincaid, Mayer, Washington, how do these guys look when they come into the league? I don't know. Do any of them push into that top
I
10?
mean, but dude, shout out to tight ends, man. Like I remember it wasn't too long ago that you had a solid like four
4?
tight ends that you could start. And now
Yep.
like we're up there talking about top 10 tight ends. I mean,
Yeah, and
shout
we're
out to
trying
the
to like
tight end
debate who
position.
makes it into the top 10. Like there's a couple guys worthy of being in there, but maybe they don't make the cut.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're saying. So
Yeah.
um yeah, but that's it for the free agent tight ends. I would say notable guys that we're still probably waiting on are going to be Dalton Schultz, Irv Smith, and maybe Austin Hooper. I don't know, but those are probably the three guys. Oh, and Foster Moreau. Foster Moreau's a sleeper to me, and he just visited with Cincinnati. If Foster Moreau goes to the Bengals, that could be decent. But I'm really interested to see where Irv goes because I'm just kind of surprised that Irv doesn't have a bigger market than I've seen so far. It seems like nobody is talking about Irv Smith Jr. And as a guy who has Irv Smith Jr. on every single dynasty team that I have, and I'm not kidding. Like I literally have him on every. I have 100% roster percentage of Irv Smith. It's scary. I want him to go somewhere.